What your name mean to you? Your name don't mean to you. Dude, Spider-Man does it again. Let's go!
If you want to know where the next generation of defensive disruptors is headed, you've come to the right place. We are officially in late February 2026, and the draft board is finally starting to settle around one name: David Bailey. This edge rusher class is loaded with athletes, but we are looking at a guy who can turn a blindside into a turnover in less than 2 seconds. But before we dive into why his stock is hitting orbit, we've got to talk about the factors making Bailey the most debated prospect in Indy. These are the honorable mentions, the specific questions that could push him to #1 overall or cause a slight slip if a team gets cold feet. First, we have to address the weight room whisper. There's a massive debate at the Combine about his true playing weight. He's listed at 250, but we're hearing he might measure closer to 240. If he comes in light, he has to prove he isn't just a speed merchant who will get buried by NFL-sized tackles. Second is the arm length measurement. We need to see those long levers cross the 34-inch mark to feel safe about him keeping blockers off his chest. Third, we're watching his run-fit discipline. He's a physical freak, but we need to see if he can anchor against power or if he's strictly a sub-package specialist. Fourth, on the comparison front, he's closer to a Nick Bonito or a prime Vic Beasley, winning with a tuned-up get-off rather than raw power. Finally, we're tracking his interview room reports. He was a legend in the Big 12, but he has to prove to GMs he can lead a professional defense from day one. The next thing that jumps off the screen for us is that alien-level get-off. Bailey is operating on a different clock, often 2 steps into his rush before the tackle finishes his kick slide. That raw explosion makes him a nightmare to game plan for. Second, we have to talk about that Meteoric stock. We're seeing him as high as #2 overall in mocks because the production doesn't lie. After transferring from Stanford to Texas Tech, he led the conference in almost every category, proving he's a finished product ready to change a defensive culture immediately. Third is his tweener versatility. He was an off-ball linebacker at Stanford before becoming an edge menace in Lubbock. We see the hip fluidity to run with tight ends, but his bread and butter is that specific slasher style built for the modern pass-heavy NFL. Fourth, the raw numbers are impossible to ignore. 14.5 sacks in a single season isn't a fluke, it's a statement. We saw him rack up over 80 pressures, showing a high-octane motor that stays disruptive from the first snap to the final whistle. Finally, the fit with the top of the board is perfect. Whether it's the Titans at pick 4 needing an anchor, or Dan Quinn in Washington looking for a cornerstone at 7, Bailey is the plug-and-play solution. In a league where the quarterback is king, David Bailey is the ultimate equalizer.
What your name mean to you? Your name don't mean to you. Dude, Spider-Man does it again. Let's go!